Morning, everybody. My name's Ian White. I love CrossFit. I'm following the CrossFit Games right now, and I want to share something with you because. Morning, everybody. My name's Ian White. I'm still getting used to this YouTube live thing. So I wanted to go live and share this with you because I believe there's some coverage in the CrossFit space right now, especially when it comes to the leaderboard and being able to see things that doesn't do it for me. So I thought I would fill that gap because I know for me, it's really important to see it this way. I like to see visuals. I want to see the scoreboard up there. I want to see who's on the bubble, who's in trouble, who's in the mix, who's got a chance. And I don't see that. I think it's just like a time and TV or a camera space thing. Like they can't keep that kind of stuff up there all the time. But when I went through the semifinals, I created these charts, and it kept me super engaged. It kept me. I'd have my phone there. I'd have a screenshot of the charts that I created, and I'd be able to see, okay, who am I watching for in this heat? What do they have to do? Who needs to have a great event? Who do they have to get in the middle of? That kind of thing. So these charts really served me, and being able to really be engaged and follow along and be able to, connect with, who's there and who has to do what. And I found myself like cheering for and rooting for people that I never expected to, because of how much information I had at my disposal. And I did it in a super visual way so that I could see, like in a graph, okay, these people are safe, these people are in trouble, and these people, they really need to have kind of like a breakthrough event. Kind of like Bailey Rail in the semifinals this year. She really came on strong the last day, and she like steadily moved her way up. And then with that final sandbag event, punched her ticket. So what I want to share with you are the individuals specifically. I've done them for teams too, but I'm not as invested in them right now. But they are on my Instagram. So I'll share that link below, and you'll be able to, check out my page. Take a screenshot of these and then have them ready for you. What I'll be doing is, or what I'll be endeavoring to do, is to update these after every test, so that you can see, your favorite athlete and who needs to do what. So I'm going to share my screen here. We'll start with the ladies. So I've done a few different charts here. So with the ladies here, and I'm getting used to this. I haven't done this YouTube live thing before, so bear with me here a little bit. So I'll follow, or I will focus in on the leaderboard, like the people in the top 10 and the podium spots and whatnot a little later on. Right now, I'm focused more on the cuts and who's in trouble. So as you can see, Alexis Raptis is running away with it. Emily Rolfe, I expect to have another good day today with a couple of running events. Nobody here is in any serious trouble. Like they're well on their way. You'll also see on this chart, you'll see like there's a cut line here. So this is how much above that current cut line is. So right now, I believe it's at like 86 or something like that. So these people are all safe. And I would project that the cut line here would actually be about 150 for today for the men and the women. So once you're kind of getting over that 150 range, you're pretty safe. So everybody on this chart here, you're solid, you're golden for today. Because even if you have a bad event, you're not likely going to lose enough ground to fall off. You might fall out of contention for podium or top 10. However, these people are pretty safe. So I'm going to share the, oh boy, I got to find out where all these things are on my screen. New share. Now, I think this is where it gets a little more interesting, is the ladies cut line. So if you, so now these people are the people who are on the bubble, a little bit more in trouble. But again, I think the cut line will be around 150. So people like Matilda Garns, Karen Freyova, Mano Anganese, even if they have crappy events, like even if they're in the bottom tier, they're still going to creep up over that 150 over the course of the next 3 events. The people who are a bit more, and I even say that Amanda Barnhart's pretty safe, Ellie Turner, Paige Semenza, Rebecca Vidison, I would imagine that they're all going to creep up over that 150, give or take. The people who are in serious trouble here and on that cut line are really Sarah Kaya, Fisa Gaffi, Emma McQuaid, Carolyn Stanley. I think these are probably the 3 or 4 ladies who have the potential to make it into the top 30. Outside of that, I don't think any of these, any of the ladies that are here after this have a chance. That said, they only need one half decent event, getting 60, 70, 80 points for them to have a shot to get into that, to get into this bubble area. So I honestly don't see it from any of these people. Abigail, Alexia, Michelle Besnet. I just don't see it. I wish them well. I hope they do well, but they're going to have to get themselves about 150 points. So good luck, ladies. But I think really the 4 to focus on are Sarah Kaya, Fisa Gaffi, Emma McQuaid, and Carolyn Stanley. I think they're the ones who have a chance. These 4, Amanda Barnhart, Ellie Turner, Paige Semenza, Rebecca Vidison, are relatively safe, but they can't bomb their next 3 events. They've got to kind of steadily chip away. All right. Let's take a look at the men. So the men on top. Well, Roman Kranikov is running away with things. As a Patrick Vellner fan, hopefully he'll be able to keep chipping away and move up that leaderboard. Honestly, although these guys are doing great, Jay Crouch, Spencer Panchek, and Moritz Fiebig, I can't imagine them being up here that long. I imagine they will steadily start to fall back to the pack, and things are really quite close, right? So there's basically a 50-point swing between 3rd place and 14th. So I expect a lot of volatility on the leaderboard today, Friday, and to see things kind of settle out a little bit closer to what they will be going into the end of the end of the competition. Kowski's doing awesome. Janikowski, I imagine he'll fall off a little bit. I still expect Vellner to push into the top 3. BKG is going to probably hang out in the top 10, 11, I think is where I picked him to end up. Bailey Martin, I assume, will fall off a little bit more, but these guys are in great position already to make not only the first cut, but the second cut, which I'm going to project around 350 would probably be where that line will end up being. So keep that number in mind. When people start getting to that number, they're in pretty good stead. So all these guys, Jeff Adler's in the mix. James Sprague, he's had a couple of pretty decent events, but I expect him to kind of peel off. However, I still think he'll make the top 20. Uldis, Noah, Jelly. I mean, these guys are all doing okay. Lazar, watch out for him. He hurt his elbow in the bike event with 2 crashes with Medeiros. And actually, I saw a video with him with Hiller, and he was trying to do a front rack or show a front rack, and he's like, the one arm that's hurt is like, this is like the best he can get into a front rack. So watch out for him. I imagine that's going to really start to hamper him, probably on the ski, holding that sandbag. And then if he does get to the weightlifting stuff, trying to press overhead is going to be really, really tough. Luke Parker's a bit of a surprise. Colton Mertens, looks like he's doing pretty well as well. So you'll see how these with this chart, you kind of really have tiers, right? You've got like the top two who are kind of kicking ass here. Then you've got like this big swath of men between 3 and 14 who are all within about 50 points. Then you get a little bit of a fall off, and then you've got this range from about 15th. I'll bring it up in a second, all the way to about 26th. They're all kind of hovering around the next level, the next tier. So I'd say everybody on page 1 here is safe. However, if we move to the cut line version of this, now we're starting to see the people who are in trouble. So I would say, again, we're shooting about 150, maybe about 160 for that cut line for the men. So Will Morad, Cole Grayshaber, Justin Medeiros, the Souza guy, Hendrik Heppelainen, and Nick Matthew, I would say are probably all very safe. And they're going to chip away, even if they're getting 20, 30 points at a time, they're still going to make their way in. The people who are in the most trouble are probably Vigneault, Scherenke, Sager, Hopper, Fabian Benito, Michael, I can't pronounce his last name, I'm going to call you Mike Wazowski, and Bronislav, and Ant Haynes. I'd say, and then you got Sam Quant there too. But this is the group that are fighting for those last few spots for that 27th through 30th. And again, I don't expect any of these last 4 guys to really make a push for this. But again, it's one good event is going to bump them up, have a couple of mediocre finishes after that, and we're going to make that top 30. So watch out for them. I don't see it coming from, Douglas, Semenoff, Jack Farlow, Cervini. I don't see these guys doing it. Sam Quant, I'm curious to see if today was just a bad day, or he's hurt, or something's going on. But he's totally has the potential to have a good event or two and get himself back up into that top 30 range for sure. Hopper, I don't know what's going on with this guy at all, but I don't know if his head's in the game or not. But if he can get back in it, he'll be able to move himself up through the top 20, I would imagine. Who I'm curious about is obviously Justin Medeiros. Is how affected is he by the 2 bike crashes with Lazar? And I don't know if adrenaline helped him with last night's event, or was it the fact that it wasn't heavy or a super impactful kind of workout that allowed him to just utilize his gymnastics and whatever to get through that and to kill it last night. But I imagine after a night's sleep, his body's going to feel pretty wrecked going into day 2. So I don't know how he's going to be. Obviously, the first test is probably going to give us a pretty good indication whether or not he's in it or not. But we're going to have to wait and see. Anyways, what I plan to do, let me stop share for a sec. So what I plan to do is try to do this again, is update these charts over the course of the events so you can follow along, and hopefully I'll be able to pinpoint a little bit better, who's in trouble. So it's not like 20 people per sheet, but you're down to like a half dozen people that you really want to watch for, so that you can see who's in it, who's not, and who you want to pay attention to going into that final event tonight. Helen's probably going to be pretty exciting and fast, so you're gonna know the handful of people that you need to see going into that event, and keep you a little bit more engaged. Anyways, hope this was helpful, and even if it's not, I'm getting something out of it. I have, kind of like my go-to cheat sheet that I'm carrying around with me as I watch the games. Anyways, till next time, take care, everybody. We'll talk soon.